Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.
I've got one on for you.
Hi, I'm Cherry Johnson with Watauga County Arts Council, and the lady with me today, I'll just bet you recognize, but not from being around the Arts Council. This is Judy Clarke, and she's rather famous in this town for her interest in the Humane Society and animals, and you're on here a bunch.
Oh, yes.
With this or that little kitty cat or puppy dog or whatever
That's
you've
right.
got with you.
Yeah, especially several years ago. I haven't done that recently, but
Okay.
I'm working now with the boutique. I do all of this thrift store, and so I'm in charge of that, and that's making quite a bit of money for the animals.
And we've kind of tapped into Judy's expertise and gotten a lot of good stuff from Judy because she's real involved with our gift shop,
Yes.
which is kind of the same idea,
yeah, it
except
is.
that ours is all artsy stuff.
Oh yeah, that's fun too. Yeah.
Judy's also a painter. She's a very, very good painter. And we're here to talk some about Judy's work and some about an upcoming exhibit, which I'm sure is near and dear to Judy's heart, because the name of the upcoming exhibit is going to be, and let's see if I can pronounce this, Animalia Amore. In other words, animal love. And so
I would have never pronounced it that way. That's good. Hey, that's good.
I made it up.
Yeah.
What did I say? My Spanish and French teachers are probably shuddering, but
Yeah.
anyway. Anyway, we guessed it, what that would be like. But the general gist of it is we're having an exhibit in February for anyone who loves animals, who paints, draws, sculpts, whatever you do. I've got some beads coming that are going to be animals. I've got
Beads?
Grace is doing some beads for us.
Wonderful.
And so we'll have all kinds of I've got a basket that has animals involved with it.
And she's made the basket?
She has.
Oh, how
Yeah,
wonderful.
it's got an eagle, a turtle, a monkey, and some fish on it.
How about the lady with the purses? Did she do anything with the
I
animals?
need to talk to her.
Yes.
That's
I
a
love
good
her
point.
purses.
That's a
Yes.
very good
Yeah.
point. Well, Judy's got an animal picture. Is this going to go in the show?
Yes, it is.
Okay. This picture is called Bronx.
Yes, this was a dog that came to the dog park when my dog was a puppy. I loved this dog. It was the cutest thing, and I just had to paint it. And the people moved away, and I gave them a copy of this before they left. But yeah, this is Bronx.
This is so cool. And you've got several. I've seen a lot of this. You must have that happen to you a lot.
Yes.
Where an animal comes in and you just can't stand to paint it.
I can't stand it. I love that. I love faces, figures, really faces and like dog faces and stuff like that. That's kind of my thing.
Ah, okay.
I
Now
have a
talk
hard
to me,
time
Judy,
doing that.
about you, because now I've known you for a lot of years, but I didn't really know of you as a painter until I'd gotten to know you a little bit better. So tell me about your painting. How did you start this?
Well, it's a funny story, really. But after I retired, I retired from ASU. I was in athletics, came as the women's basketball coach and the
Kinda
volleyball
looks like a
coach.
basketball
Yes,
coach,
yeah. And so I ended up being the associate athletic director, and I was in charge of all the women's sports there at ASU for several years. Many, many moons. And so after I retired, I had never done anything in art. I had a sister-in-law who was a fantastic painter. She kept trying to get me interested, and I was not, I just wasn't interested. And so I was too busy. And so after she died and after I retired, Betty Bond grabbed me and said, let's go to a painting workshop.
And every time Betty Bond says do something, everybody says,
Yeah,
sure.
sure. I said, well, yeah, okay. And then, of course, as time grew near, I thought, what am I doing? I have never done anything like this. I've never drawn. I've never done anything. I thought, this is crazy. Well, they laughed at me because all the way down, I said, I don't know why I'm doing this. Well, I ended up being the one that really fell in love with painting. And so that's how I got into it. And that was around 2001, 2002. And so I really got into it slowly, took a lot of classes. Still don't feel like I've come up with my style yet. You know how it takes a while.
I don't know. I kind of see a style here.
Although Marcia keeps telling me that Oh yeah, I can tell anything you've done.
I agree.
You know,
I agree.
And so
I agree.
I kind of laugh because I think, golly, because I think I've got a lot of depth.
You know, most artists, now they change their style from time to time.
Yes.
But most artists, once you get to know them pretty well, you can look at I could look at a show and say, that one was done by so-and-so, and that one was done by so-and-so. And 9 times out of 10, I'm right.
Right.
And it's because that you do develop a style, whether it's conscious or unconscious.
That's right.
There is a style to your work. And I would agree with Marcia. I think there is a style to your work. Now, this piece I love.
This is my favorite.
Cute. Who is this?
This is always my favorite. This is my great niece.
Aw.
And this was a picture that they had taken of her, and I just fell in love with it.
Oh, it's so
And so,
precious. She looks
yeah.
like she's adorable.
She is. I mean, she's beautiful.
Cuddly and sweet.
Cuddly and
yeah.
sweet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
How old is she now?
She's probably, I think she's 6.
Oh, so she's still little.
Oh, she's still little, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I know you didn't get her to sit still so you could paint her.
No, I had a photograph. There's no way.
But now, you know, I know that people are going to think I'm crazy, but I see a similarity, not calling the child a dog,
Right.
but in the style of the painting. There is a style to your work.
Oh,
And it's kind of an old-fashioned, kind of for a very romantic style, you know, that you have to your work. And I see that connection.
Yeah,
in these
I think I do
pieces.
too. I think it's, like I like to do, my first paintings and all were of women who had old hats on that were from the, you know,
kind of a Monet kind of a look.
Yes,
yeah.
You know, I love doing the feathers and the hats.
Yeah, and the hair on this one is really down that line, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes, and her hair looked like that. Her mother had, I don't know how her mother did it. And I'm
It
sure
probably
it was,
just happened that way.
yeah, and I'm sure it was natural, curly
Yes,
too, kind of.
exactly. And speaking of Monet type looks,
Oh, yes.
this is a painting. Now, how did this happen?
This was from the Serendipity. We had a show where we did Mimicking the Masters.
I remember it.
Yes, this is the one I did. This is Monet, and I believe it was at the cafe or something like that. Does it say on there?
No, you don't say it. At the cafe.
Yeah, at the cafe. I love this, and I loved especially the beer glass sitting here, and they probably can't see it. This woman has actually the beer foam on her lip up here.
How ladylike of her.
Yes. And so anyway, and she's smoking a cigarette with this curling. They probably can't see some of this.
We'll get a close up and let people see this up close. Yeah.
I really enjoyed doing this.
This is
And was surprised when I was able to do it, you know, as well.
But I think it's down your alley.
Oh yeah,
Very definitely down your alley.
I need to do, I think, more things like this of people sitting around and stuff like that because I do like people to do people.
And you did at the for our Christmas card competition, you did a piece that was such a romantic, fanciful Santa Claus.
Santa Claus. It was almost like, I always called it my floating Santa Claus because he's just kind of floating out in space.
Maybe that's what Santa Claus does.
That's right. But yeah.
But I think that your work does have a very definite look to it. Now, do you draw first and then paint, or do you just paint?
No, I draw first and then paint. I haven't done quite as much painting. You know, you kind of go through stages. I haven't done as much painting because I've concentrated on learning to draw.
That's really important.
Oh, yes. And Marcia is so good. Marcia Holmes, so good in our classes that we have at the Senior Center. She teaches a class on Monday and Wednesday mornings.
Right. And the Tuesday, Thursday at the other Senior Center.
Yeah, I think Thursday, just Thursday at
really?
the other one,
Okay.
yeah. But it's been something that's really inspired me. And she is such a good teacher of drawing. And so I've gotten into that, and it's, you know, I feel like I'm kind of perfecting what I want to be doing later when I get back into the painting.
That's great. Now, the painting, what kind of paints do you prefer?
I prefer watercolor. All these are watercolor that you see.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think this one may be on a combination.
I started to say, I think I see some acrylic in
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
In fact, it may have been more acrylic. I can't remember now. I believe, did I put on here the back of this what it is?
You did not.
I did
No,
not.
it doesn't say.
Okay, it's probably acrylic or a combination. Sometimes I do a combination of acrylic and
Mixed
watercolor.
media.
Yeah, mixed media. That's right. And the one back here is definitely acrylic.
Yeah, I wondered about that. I thought it looked like acrylic. It definitely has. You don't even have glass over it, so it's definitely an
Yes,
acrylic.
yeah.
So now this is really cool. This is another style that you've picked up
Yes,
lately.
I picked that up recently. And I love that. It's one of these that you can do faster.
Right.
Because you're not worrying about the face so much. You're, just doing the face this way.
That's right.
And
or the hands, really. I mean, they're just there.
and the white is what you do last. You put on this dark for the
Arms and
arms
body
and legs and the body. Or if you were doing Caucasian type people, you would do, that first. And then, and you have a background already, like red was my
Right.
background for
Right.
this. And
Red?
Yes, red. And so you see the red in here, different places.
Interesting.
That was in the background, and you can see it a little bit in
And
here
up
on her
close,
hat.
I can tell this. Now, you won't be able to tell this through the camera, so you
Right.
got to come see this in person. But you can tell that the red is the deepest color.
Right.
Down the lowest on the canvas.
Canvas,
So,
yes.
Yeah.
And then the white is so fun because you just do the white over top, do your stuff like that, and then you put in color for the shadows.
Add it in.
And you can see a lot of
Yeah, you're
plus
an
the
interesting
red.
mix.
Yeah.
Because, and people have heard me say this before, watercolor and oil are backwards from each other.
Mm-hmm.
With oil, you work from your darkest color to your lightest color, and you apply your whites last. So that's an
Right.
oil technique.
Yes.
Okay? Watercolor, your white is your paper.
Right. Yes.
And so you work backwards because you're doing your lightest color, you're leaving it and not touching it, and you're working away from that towards your darker and just adding on dark. So you've done kind of both in this particular
because
painting.
acrylic you do more of starting with your dark and making it
Exactly,
lighter.
it's closer to oil.
Yeah, it's closer to oil,
But
although
you've
it's
used
water-based.
watercolor techniques, though,
Yes,
because
yes.
then you're adding the dark on top of the white. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So,
yeah.
so you kind of worked both ways.
Both ways, yeah.
And also, if you look at red as your white or your base
Yeah,
color,
because it's the back color.
then you've worked
Yeah,
kind
like
of in a
the-
watercolor strategy
Yes.
with
Yes.
with a different kind of a paint. So it's really interesting. You just kind of created your own style here.
Oh,
Judy.
yeah, right. Well, that's what you've got to end up doing. And that's why I say sometimes I'm not sure I've quite got my techniques down, and maybe I do, but it's because I think you take classes that you've taken, people that you've had as teachers, you take a little of this, you take a little of that, and pretty
That's
soon
what it's all
you've
about.
got your style.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And that's what painting or art is about anyway, is taking everything around you and interpreting it in your own unique way.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. I've never seen, I go into classes where, like in Marcia's class, where they give us something, say, here's what we're going to do this, and it's all the same thing. You'd be surprised at how different everybody's
Exactly.
piece is.
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and you've
Yeah.
seen the same thing, and you model to stand up there, and you're doing it, and everybody's done something different.
That's
So it's-
really, really
Yeah,
cool.
it's really neat.
So now this kind of ethnic type of style that you're also developing here, you've sold some of these lately because we've sold some of them for
Yeah,
you. You know,
yeah.
and they're very, very popular right now.
They are.
And-
In fact, I've had a lot of people say, you need to do some more of those.
well,
because
if you
they
want to
would-
do it for money, then that's
Yeah,
definitely
and
the way to
that's-
go.
that's right.
So you're
That's right.
fortunate that you're retired, and so therefore you're not necessarily dependent on the art for a living.
No,
you
and
know.
I don't try to. This is really, a hobby to me. And of course, if I sell something, I love it because I know
Oh,
people,
yeah.
love what I've done. But
You're supporting your habit.
yeah. But basically, this is a hobby. I'm having a good time with it, and
Right.
it's something different. I've always believed that when you retire, you need to do something completely different than you did when you were working.
Yes, for sure.
And people are always saying, well, aren't you following the basketball? Aren't you following this? And I said, not really. I'm interested.
Been there,
I try
done
to,
that.
yeah, but I've been there, done that. And now I want to do some of the things that I never had time to
This
do.
is so neat.
So
And I'm
that's,
so glad you found the arts as your thing. Now, you weren't a painter or a drawer at all as a child?
No,
Not at all?
not at all.
Really?
I was always outdoors. I was doing tumbling and
Tomboy, yeah.
tomboyish. Yeah, I was playing football with the boys outside. It was. I was
Goes
just,
to show there's a hidden artist in everybody.
That's right. That's right. And as my sister-in-law said, anybody can become an artist. All you have to do is practice. It's like anything else. If you want to play an
Exactly.
instrument, you got to practice.
You know, I hear so many people, as a former visual arts teacher, who will say, I can't draw a straight line. And I'm like, well, that's a good thing, because that's not what it's about.
That's right. Just I can't either. Straight lines. I try to draw
Why do you
circles.
want to draw a
sometimes I
straight
can't. Who wants to see a straight
If you're
line?
an architect, it's an important thing.
Yeah, right.
But in this kind of art, where's the straight lines that anybody sees? There aren't any. I don't think there's one straight line anywhere in any of these paintings.
No, I don't either. And I don't like straight lines. You know, you see some paintings that look like they've taken a ruler.
Well, and for certain styles, that's
that's good too. But most of the time you see, you know, everybody sees it differently.
Well, if that artist was in your class where everybody's painting something and you've got these nice flowing things, they're going to have something angular. Because that's the way they're looking at the world.
That's right.
And thinking about it.
And it looks good. I like some of that too, you know. So
that is really neat.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I love about you, Judy, is you're always in a good mood.
Oh, I try to.
I have never seen this woman in a bad mood.
Well, there may be some people who say, "Oh, I've seen her in a bad mood."
Well, I just haven't had that experience, and frankly, I'm enjoying what I know about her.
That's right.
Well, you're always such a pleasant person, and you always seem to enjoy life so much.
Well, I do. You know, and I think that's part of life. You need to let go and enjoy life.
But I think this is a really big part of your life right now, and part of your enjoyment.
It is.
You know, I encourage folks to find the arts as a vehicle for not just entertaining and enjoying life, but also expressing yourself, also just an outlet. You know, it's so many things for so many folks, you know, and I think that,
and we all see something so different.
Yeah.
And we don't have to see the same thing.
Exactly.
That's what's so wonderful about
Exactly. And that's the cool thing about the arts is that there's no wrong answer.
No.
You know, and truly, despite you're going to think I'm crazy, there's really not a bad painting. No, there may be some that are less skilled than others, but there are.
Or one person may not like it quite as well as somebody else.
It's a matter of personal taste.
Yes. Yeah, because a lot of times I think, golly, I wonder why, you know, when somebody's judging, why they didn't pick that one, or why they didn't, and it's all in a matter of
I don't even know how many different gallery exhibits I have hosted over the years. I've lost track, you know, because it's been a lot. And every single show, there are pieces that I like a lot. And there are pieces now and then there's one I just don't particularly care for. You know?
Sure.
That is my personal taste.
That's right.
That's no one else's perspective. It's just mine. And I think that applies to all the arts. I think that each thing has its admirers and its people who don't care for it.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
And so that's okay. That's what makes it worth doing.
That's right.
And the fun is in the doing anyway.
Oh, it is. It is. The fun is in the doing. And
experiencing it.
And being with people that are doing it.
Oh,
I enjoy the
good point
outlet, you know, of meeting new people, getting acquainted with people you wouldn't have gotten acquainted with before.
Speaking of which, tell us about your experience working with the Arts Council in the last few months.
Oh, I've had a wonderful time. Yeah, met a lot of different people, and I've really enjoyed it. It's been one of those things that's been... I haven't quite felt like I've had quite enough time, you know, to give what I would like to give because I have enjoyed you. I've enjoyed, you know, working with everybody down there, and I have sat at the gallery, you know, on Sundays once in a while when I could do it, and I've enjoyed that. Even though a lot of people didn't come in during that time, I got out my art stuff and started doing my art stuff.
Yeah, if you want to see Judy painting, you got to hit one of the times when she's hosting at the galleries.
That's
she
right.
often takes her work with her.
Oh, I do.
And she's not the only one that does that. And so the odds of you hitting a gallery volunteer who is also an artist who's working on their art form are pretty good. And so it's a chance to not just see the art, but also see it being done, which is kind of neat.
And I think the neat thing about this one coming up to is that the Serendipity is going to have the same.
We're merging the two galleries together.
So always be sure when you go in there that you go down the hall and see what the Serendipity is doing.
It is. The Serendipity Gallery at this point in history is located still in the same gallery with the rest of us, but it's kind of a little leg down to one side. It's a wide hallway.
Kind of a wide hallway, yeah.
And so it's a short-term solution. Everything we're doing is a short-term solution because we got big plans.
Yeah.
We aren't going to tell them yet, but we got some big plans. And so ultimately we'll be moving at some point out of our donated digs at the called the Green Building. 783 West King Street. And it's where Palucci's is located. It's that same building. Wine to Water's in there. There's a law office in there. And then also we are where High Country Bank used to be, downtown. And there is parking as long as you're coming to see us. You're welcome to park there. They won't boot you if you're coming in to see us.
Yeah, you got to go in. Don't go anywhere else.
No, don't go anywhere else. You don't want to anyway.
That's right.
But this is donated courtesy of John Winkler, Roger Wright, and Kenneth Wilcox. And it's been fantastic.
Yeah, we appreciate him so.
And we also want to give kudos to the Watauga Committee of 100, which donated office space in the Appalachian Enterprise Center, which we still have and we still use. And then also Cheap Joe's Art Stuff, which has been such a great friend.
Oh, they've been a friend to all of us.
And they
High
donated.
Country Water Media Society, too.
Yes.
They've been so good to us.
Now, they financially support our galleries every month. And then in addition to all of that, they've given us enormous moral support, and they've donated the use of part of their warehouse space for us to store things as well. So they've been wonderful friends as well.
Oh, yeah.
But we understand that we won't be able to be in that gallery space forever because, after all, they are trying to make a living and rent the space and whatever. So we will be moving on at some point in history. We aren't quite positive when that's going to be, but we'll be moving forward, and we'll be getting, I think, a larger space for Serendipity to sort of swell back out, into a larger.
Which will be nice for,
Absolutely. But in the meantime, I think that one of the biggest feel-good moments of this whole last 7 or 8 months has been the support and love that we've gotten from our arts community, and in particular the Serendipity Gallery folks.
Yes.
They have been the core of the volunteers.
That's right.
That's
right. We have
and
been,
they've rallied around us. We have had a blast.
Oh,
we've had so much fun.
I know we really have. It's been a good experience, and I've learned a lot just seeing what it takes to, to run a place like that. And I couldn't believe the space, how it changed from. I'd look at it and I would think, there's no way we can have a gallery.
This is ugly.
Yeah. And go in the next day and it just looks gorgeous.
Pat Grant painted it. And when he did that,
yes, he did.
Oh my gosh, what a change.
Yes.
And then when we brought in everything, he has been wonderful.
Hangs all our shows. I mean, he does a real good job.
And then we brought in all this great art, which just, made it wonderful. And then we had these furnishings that had been donated by Anna Mena when she used to have Ad Lib downtown.
Yes.
And so we kind of gathered those up from all the places they'd been stored and brought them back in and put we don't have all of our furniture in there because there's not room for all of it. Right. But we've got a major chunk of it and filled it up with treasures represented from all kinds of artists.
Yes, it's great.
So you need to come, not just to enjoy the art gallery, which we encourage you to do. We will be having a reception for this Animalia Amore on February the 1st. From 5:30 to 8:30, we'll have music, we'll have an author, we might even have a craftsman demonstrating a craft or two.
Oh, that'd be good,
and then we'll also have a fabulous art. But in addition to that, though, come in and buy your gifts, buy things for yourself.
I'm going to buy a purse. I've got to buy a purse.
Oh, you've got to get those.
I know.
They're great. They're so inexpensive, too.
They are. And I keep looking at, and I think, I've got to get in there and choose one.
I got tickled. There was a girl that works at the law offices around the corner, and we have windows in the hallway there. And she was going by, I saw her going by a bunch, and one day she blasts into the door and she said, I give up, I'm going to buy it. She's been eyeballing this purse for days.
I know, that's what it takes sometimes. She said, well, let me see which one I like. But the prices are great.
They are.
I couldn't believe it.
And a lot of our artists, I think, honestly should price them higher, but they aren't. And so right now is a great time to get the bargain while you can.
That's right. Until they get famous, and then they get expensive.
Then you'll have a collector's item.
Right. That's right.
All right. Please come get involved. And the best way to get involved of all is to become part of the volunteer team. Become a member, become involved in the actual organization, because that's such fun.
Oh, it is. And you get, as I say, you get to know so many people and learn how the place runs and what sells and what doesn't. Hey, and that's part of it. Seeing what sells and what doesn't.
And some of our volunteers are not artists.
Oh, I know. Yeah, which is.
So even if you say, well, I'm not artistic, that's okay.
Yeah. If you want to volunteer, hey.
If you like to have fun, you'd like to be part of us.
That's right. That's right.
Well, Judy, I love your work. I love your talent.
Thank you.
All this hidden talent. And you were shooting a basketball.
I know. See? You just never know.
Well, I'm glad you found it.
Me too, because I've enjoyed it.
Come and enjoy Judy's work. She'd always, almost, well, all the time, because you're part of our gift shop artists too.
Yes.
So all the time, we've got some of Judy's work.
A lot
in
of
the
my
gift
cards
shop.
are there.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can have your own for a very cheap price.
That's right.
Talk
Some of
about
this good
underpricing.
stuff in cards.
That's exactly true. And then when we have exhibits, you participate very regularly. So she has work in that. So I encourage you to come and enjoy Judy's work. Enjoy the work of the other 80 some odd artists that
That's
are
right.
all around.
That are enjoying it.
Yes.
Too, yeah.
Plus we have artists that are coming and going all the time through our gift gallery exhibits. Even more of them. We live in a very fortunate community because we have so many artists. In
Oh,
our
so
community.
many. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're very lucky. I do encourage you to be part of it. Check our website, watauga-arts.org, for this and a whole lot more.
Yes.
The Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.